current money blueprint set for? Are you preset for success, for mediocrity, or for failure around money? Are you set for struggle with money or for ease around money? Are you set for working really hard for your money? Raise your hand if you're a big hard worker. Come on, let me see it. Where are you? Good. Nothing more than a preset pattern or program. That's all that is. Or are you set for having a nice balance in your life? Are you set for having a very consistent income or an inconsistent income? You know, the up and down yo-yo effect. First you got it, then you don't. Then you got it, then you don't. Then you got it, then... Raise your hand if you know that one really good. Nothing more than a preset pattern. That's all that is. Are you set for having a very high income, a moderate income, or a low income? Do you know there's actual numbered settings? So are you set for earning, 25 to 50,000 a year, 50 to 75, 75 to 100, 100 to 200, 200 to 300, 300 to 500? Nothing more than preset patterns and programs. And are you preset for saving money? Or are you preset for spending money? Or are you set for avoiding the entire subject, if you could? Absolutely. Are you set for managing money well or for mismanaging money? For picking winning investments or picking losers? For trusting people with money or distrusting people with money? How can you tell what you're set for? Well, one of the easiest ways is what? Look at the fruits. That will tell you what the roots are set for. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If the temperature in the room is 72 degrees, chances are really good the thermostat is set for how much, guys? 72. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Now, imagine that it's really hot outside and the windows are open. Is it possible that the temperature in that room could, say, get to 77 degrees? Yes or no? But what will eventually happen? Thank you. The thermostat will kick in and drive that temperature back down to 72 degrees. Now, is it possible that because the windows are open and it's very cold outside, that the temperature in the room could, say, go to 65 degrees? But what will eventually happen? Thank you. The thermostat will kick in and drive that temperature right back to 72. Meaning that the only way to permanently, what's the word? Thank you. Permanently change the temperature in that room is to change that what? Thermostat. And the only way to permanently, what's the word? Permanently change your money life, your financial results, is to change your money what? Thermostat, otherwise known as your money blueprint. Does that make sense to you? All right, excellent. Now, who can tell me one of the simplest ways to make change? Decide one. What else? Yes, become aware of it. Good, good. Yeah, someone said marry rich. That's good. That's close. That's good. Obviously, one of the easiest ways to make a change is to model. What is it? Model people who have blueprints set for high levels of success. High levels of success, yes? And those people have a name. They're called rich people. And so one of the things we're going to do in the second part of the program here is talk just a little bit about how rich people actually think quite differently than most other people. But before we do that, we have to take a little stretch. So please stand up. All right. Raising your arms nice and high. I want to hear a big, big groan. Let me hear you. Oh, good job. And this way. Oh, louder. And the other way. Oh. And backwards. Oh. And forward. Oh. Give somebody a double high five and say, you're awesome. And have a seat. Have a seat. All right, let's get into some of these things that are lots of fun. So, the first way that rich people think quite differently than most poor and middle class people, and when I say poor and middle class, I mean the mentality more than necessarily the result. Of course, it depends on that, yes? All right, so let's go this one. Rich people believe what? I create, one more time, twice as loud. I create my life. And most poor and middle class people, what do they believe? Life happens to me, life happens to me. If you want to create real wealth, it is imperative to believe that you are at the steering wheel of your life. You have to believe that you are the one who creates your success, you are the one who's creating your mediocrity, and you are the one creating any financial struggle. Consciously or unconsciously is still you. But instead of taking full responsibility for what happens to them in their life, most people, well, they play the role of the what? The victim. Now, you can always tell a victim because they leave 3 indelible clues. And we're going to go over these right now. But before we do, I want you to realize that I do fully understand that what we're about to talk about here has nothing to do with anyone in this particular room. But just in case you know someone who should have been here, make sure you bring them next time. Yes? All right. So the first thing they do is what? They blame. That's right. They blame the economy. They blame their type of business. They blame the stock market. They blame the real estate market. They blame the city they live in. They blame the taxes. They blame the government. They blame their employer. They blame their employees. They blame their manager. They blame customer service. They blame their partner. They blame their upline. They blame their downline. They blame their husband. They blame their wife. And, of course, everybody wants to blame their parents for something. Or the next thing they do is they do what? Thank you. They justify their situation by saying something like, well, you know, money's not that important. Let me ask you a question. If you said that your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend wasn't that important, would they be around for very long? I don't think so, and neither would what? You know, neither would money. And people come up to me in my major seminars all the time, and they'll walk up and they'll say something like that. They'll say, well, you know, Harv, money's not that important. And I'll go, you're broke, aren't you? And they'll go, well, right now I'm a little short. No, not right now, always. You've always been broke, yes or yes. And they go, of course they're broke. Of course they're broke. If you didn't think having a motorcycle was important, would you buy one? Would you have one? Of course not. If you don't think having a pet parrot is important, would you buy one? Would you have one? Of course not. If you don't think money's important, would you have any? Of course not. You know, you can actually dazzle your friends with this information. The next time your friend comes up to you and says something lame like that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to roll your eyes up into here and look up into the heavens and put your hands up here on your forehead and go, you're broke. And they're going to go, how did you know? And you're going to go, what else do you want to know? That'll be $50, please, and you'll have a whole new business. Of course they're broke. Let me just say this for the record. Anybody who says money is not important doesn't have any. True or true? All right, now, the third one here is absolutely imperative. What's it say, please? Complain. Let me say this right now. Complaining is the absolute worst possible thing you could do for your health or your wealth. The worst. Why? Well, one of our other programs is called the Wizard Training. What kind of training? And that's all about how do you manifest what you want with elegance and joy versus a lot of struggle. And the way to do that is using universal principles. And so you can be in alignment with the laws of nature instead of fighting against them. Does that make sense? All right. And one of those principles I'm sure you heard of, and it says this. I want you to repeat it. It says, what I focus on expands. Let me hear you. What I focus on expands. One more time. What I focus on expands. Tell somebody else, please. Excellent. Now, here it is. Let me ask you a question. When you are complaining, what are you focusing on? What's right with your life or what's wrong with your life? And since what you focus on expands, what are you now going to get more of? What's right with your life or what's wrong with your life? Absolutely, you're going to get more of what's wrong with your life. When you are complaining, you are actually attracting crap into your life. When you are complaining, you turn into this big, giant crap magnet. And have you ever heard that complainers, I mean, you know, they usually say the same thing. Say, well, of course I complain. Look how crappy my life is. And now you know better, so you can say, no, it's because you complain that your life is so crappy. Shut up and don't stand near me. So I'm going to give you some homework. Are you willing? An action plan. Now, here's what I want you to do. For 7 days, how long? No complaining. Not out here and not in here. And when you can do that for 7 days, I promise miracles will occur for you. And it's got to be a whole 7 days. Why? Because you still might have some, you know, residual crap coming to you from before, right? Because crap doesn't travel at the speed of light, you know. It travels at the speed of crap, and it's really slow. So it has to be a whole 7 days. Are you willing? All right, good job. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. Here's the secret. Are you ready for the secret? No, you're not ready. Are you ready for the secret? All right. Lean forward. Hands on your ears. Let's see them. Okay, here we go. Ready? There's no such thing as a really rich victim. Yet being a victim definitely has its rewards, doesn't it? What's the big reward people get out of being a victim? That's right, they get attention. Is attention important to most people? It's the most important thing to most people. Why? Because when we were infants, we made a mistake, and a big one. Almost all of us. And what we did is we equated attention with love for the purposes of survival. But they're not the same at all. Does that make any sense? And because of that mistake, most of us really don't even know about true love. We know about what's called ego love, meaning we love another person for what they do for us versus who they are, having nothing to do with us. And worse than that, we love ourselves for what we do for us. In other words, when we're good, we love ourselves. And when we're bad, we don't love ourselves. True or true?